Hi everybody. Right, so what I've got for you today is a Galaxy watch. If I remember rightly, it's the S3 Classic. I got this a few years ago and I stopped using it because the battery was atrocious on it. And to be honest with you, I never actually got round to replacing it, so I thought I'd do that today. I've got the replacement battery here. I think it cost me about £7 or £8 on Replacemant. Do a closer up view of the moment with the other cam. But yeah, so nice simple job. Should hopefully only be sort of a 10-15 minute video, and we'll go from there. Right, so let's get to it. Just bear with me for a second. What I have done is I have set the microscope up to date, so just gonna come over to that. You'll have to bear with me because to get microscope to pick up properly, it does kind of whitewash the other camera, and I'm afraid there's not a huge amount I can do about that at the moment. So as you can see, this is the watch here, and there is 4 screws located. Let's get something to 4 screws located in just by the posts for the watch strap, just here, and one in this corner as well. So these are the if I remember rightly, the Y type and no, I think Y0 if I remember rightly. Yep. So it's a Y0 driver bit, and it's just 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now these are not the easiest to get off. And what I've found is either a really nice sharp set of tweezers or a really fine metal prying tool. And if you just either this side, no, I was the right side first, there is a very slight gap here. It's not the easiest to see, especially not on this camera. It's just enough to be able to get your tweezers in, usually, and then see if I've got a slightly thicker set of tweezers. It's fine tweezers, but let's see. There we go. In and these screws all the way out, otherwise it's not going to budge, is it? Right, try that one again. And there we go. Tweezers in and a little pry up. It's going to leave, whatever way you do it, it's going to leave slight marks. That's why I always suggest coming in from here, because once you've then got the watch strap here, you're not going to see any little scuffs. Now, scuffs aren't too bad. It is literally just that very edge of the material. The only tools that come if you buy these the replacement kits on eBay is a flat pry bar, but they're really fine, and it's quite difficult to actually get them in. I just find tweezers work just a little bit better, especially the fine pointed ones. So put this open. Now there is a little gasket that runs It's not a not gasket there. Runs all the way around the back of the screen. It's not an adhesive. It is literally just a like an O-ring seal. So let's just pop that out the way. Right. And as you can see, that's the inside of the watch. There's unlike the Apple watches where you've got to go in screen first. Luckily with this, you can go in back first. There's nothing attaching cable wise to the back. All the sensors are actually in the watch, apart from there is one set of gold contacts here, which if I remember rightly is, gold contacts for this here, which is, if I remember rightly, is the wireless charging coil. You've got your water damage indicator, and then a whole waterproofing hole for microphone or possibly speaker, but we'll have a look. Right, getting in to take the battery out, taking the back cover off, and there's three ribbon cables. One here, black one, big orange one in the middle, and then this little blue one, and these literally just pop off like so, just like any other flat cables. Very similar to the Apple connectors, and phone connectors. And once they're free, there is literally one screw there and one screw there. So what we'll do is get in with just double check which size this is. No, that's the Y0. Right, it's not doing it. And this is a Phillips head screw, and it's a P00. What I like to do with these ones, because these tend to like to disappear, is get the tweezers on them, because you'll see in a minute, just when we actually lift, that it's only a pressure fit for the battery. So if these screws do go missing, they have to be replaced. Otherwise, the connection between the battery and the board's not very good. Once we've done that, this board should then lift up. And what we need to do is pop up. What I tend to do is just here by the board and the plastic, there's enough space just to pop the tweezers under and lift it very gently. And I'm putting very little pressure on that to actually move that. And then what we do is come around the other side, similar sort of position, and it's lifted itself off. So that board will now lift. One thing to be very careful of, you've got it in this orientation, so you've got the ribbon cables towards you, top right position between sort of 10 and 11, so around this area here, there is a ribbon cable, which here, as you can see, this cover has already been off. Let me just drop down on the bench, and there is adhesive here attaching it to the battery. Now, so when you first lift it up, it will try and lift all of this in one go. It will lift this and the battery. Now, what I did when it was in this position, I literally lifted it slightly. I have if I can find it, I actually have, it's just behind here. It's a flux needle with a 10-12 ml syringe, a little bit of IPA, couple of drops along there, because as you can see by the amount that's come away, it is a very small amount of actual adhesive that's attaching it, and that attaching it to the main board, so it's holding it there. Right, so to disconnect the battery or to undo it, pop under here, see this little gold contact, so keeping ribbon cables towards, it's about the 3 o'clock position. We go in and we just pop it out, and you see it lifts, and as soon as that lifts, we can actually lift the battery out. Just be very careful, guys. This battery is dead, but they can still hold charge, they can still be volatile, so I suggest having something that you know, if it goes wrong, you can chuck it in, because when they do burn, they just go ferociously. As you can see under here, you've got all the other bits and pieces. This plastic bezel does lift out, not that you need to today, so you can get in and work on the other parts, but it's not something I suggest doing because there is a very good chance you can damage the screen. So all we're doing today is literally just going through and replacing the battery. Pop that back down, and now for the battery to go in. So we know that we've got the slot for the battery over here. So what we need to do is make sure that the cable's lying in the right position. So bring it over the shoulder and bring it up so it sticks out like that. This is the easiest way of getting these batteries in. If you try and lay the cable in and then feed the battery in, it can get quite awkward. So slot the battery into its little hole. It will have a slight friction fit, and then what we'll do is we'll lay the battery connector in. So all we want to do is just very carefully, you can see, tweeze it into position and then lay it flat. And there's a little post just here that slots in. See if we can get this bit clearer for you guys. Okay. Right, so this is the connector for the battery. Ribbon comes in, folds down, and there's a little hole in the ribbon cable that slots over that post. Once it's over that post and laid down flat, that ribbon cable shouldn't move. Even slightly better picture, unless you actually pop the battery out. So, but that, just pop this, focus this back up again, but that is literally the hardest, well, it's not the hardest part of this job, but that's the main part. The battery's in. So all we need to do now is very carefully fold that back over. And what I suggest, just hold the cables out the way, a little bit of pressure, and then it should just clip that down. Doesn't need a lot, and it just sort of pops back into place once it's lined up. And the reason I said about the screws is because battery connector's under here and it connects to the board, so without that pressure it's not actually going to make a good contact. So you might get it working, but it may not, it may be intermittent. So screws back in, one, and the second screw, now these don't need to be tight, just in, all I do is I literally just until, so I can feel it tighten up, not too much, just till it's snug, just to hold the pressure on. Then it's just a case of getting these 3 battery connectors back into place. Now this can be quite awkward. It's just a case of lining them up. Popping them back down like that. There's 1, 2, and the third one. So 1, 2, third one 3. Good squish down, make sure they're in place, and then it's a case of popping the battery cover back on. Now, good way to, that's up for this watch. Up is with it all, with the 2 buttons on the right hand side. So when we flip it over, up would have them on the left hand side, and then you want to be able to and then, sorry, not want to be able, you should be able to just drop this cover back on, and it goes, there's 3 little holes just here for the speaker outlet. So that other one will be the microphone. That's your speaker outlet, and they go on this side, on the opposite side where there's no buttons. That's all we need to do. Pop that on, and then it's just a case, once again, just snugging those screws up. Now, as you snug them up, it will pop itself into place. So don't be too alarmed if you feel, not crunching, but slight as it gives. As it pulls the back plate into the main face plate. There we go. And then it's just a case of testing it. So testing that it charges. So I have got S3 Classic Watch charger base. Pop it on. You should get red light to tell us it's charging. And there we go. We've got the symbol. Oh, 55%. And it's charging. Now, when I did this with the previous battery, it didn't want to charge. So, charging symbol. And there we go. And it's charging. So, see if it will let me turn it on. Since we know there's power in there, let's fire this up and see if we can. Been that long, it's remembering how to ooh, maybe it will need a full charge. So what I'll do is I'll put it on charge, get it to 100%. I'll remember how to turn it on, and then I'll a couple of minutes. I'll for me that's in a moment. Well, not even a couple of minutes, couple of seconds. But for me, that's been a couple of hours. Got the watch fully charged. You see, the screen works, does fully charge. Only issue I've had is I have not, as of yet, been able to get it to power on. I have been having a look online, issues, and for some reason, I don't know whether it's one of these buttons is not being detected, but it could be something down to that. Could be from when I took it apart, or it could just be the fact that it doesn't want to work. I will revisit this, probably do a part 2 to this video. Take it apart, have a better look, you know, see if I can see anything on there. If any of you guys have got an idea why, because obviously the screen's working, it's displaying the you can clearly see it displaying, but it just doesn't seem to want to switch on. So if you've got any ideas, stick them down in the comments. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more, subscribe button and bell notification. And yeah, sadly that's as far as I can get today on this one. It's the first one of these that I've done. as in a battery change. I couldn't test the watch before because I've put the old battery in here. I couldn't actually get this battery to charge, so I couldn't see if the watch was working before I replaced it. So, well, it might need a hard reset, but I'm just figuring out at the moment how to do that. So yeah, I'll do a part 2, figure this out and see where we go from there. Alright guys, thank you very much. Appreciate you watching. Take care.